After 10 years apart, my abandoned grandson's incredible gift revealed my daughter's hidden truth. Jack trudged through the bustling streets of Millwood, the town fair looming just days away. He watched families laughing, children running, and felt a heaviness settle in his chest. The sound of joyous screams on rides faded as the images of his own family tormented him. A decade had passed since he'd last seen Emily, his daughter, and a decade of pain filled his life like the rusting tools in his garage. Memories of flickering lights and laughter mingled with regret. He wondered if she'd send word. He wondered if she was okay. Then, out of the thrumming crowd, a figure emerged. It was Sam, his estranged grandson. Jack could barely recognize the 20-year-old young man who stood before him, eyes alive with a mixture of hope and nostalgia much like a younger Emily. In his hands was a painting, colors flashing vibrantly despite the dull atmosphere Jack felt. Grandpa Sam's voice trembled with a mix of excitement and uncertainty. Jack felt his heart skip. The moment swelled as Sam handed over the painting, a raw depiction of their shared history, brushstrokes swirling with emotion. "I wanted you to have this. It's about family," Sam said, eyes shining. Jack's chest tightened. The canvas spoke of unfulfilled dreams and the heavy silence Jack had so long endured. Each color radiated connection, each stroke felt like a yearning for a bond they had been robbed of. Jack's hands shook as he took the painting, examining the vibrant chaos. In Sam's eyes, he saw the resentment of growing up without a father and the ache of missing family ties, feelings Jack knew too well. Memories of Emily flooded his mind, her laughter, her tears, the way time had torn them apart. What's your dad like?" Jack stammered, the pain of his own estrangement pricking at him. Sam's gaze dimmed, a shadow pulling over their moment. "He's not around. But I want to know you. I want to be part of a family." Jack felt the weight of the world press upon his shoulders. He could sense the crowd around them, the fair spinning around like a carousel, but he was lost in a tempest of emotions. Then whispers passed through the crowd. The truth of Emily struck like lightning. Once a bright star in Jack's universe, she had battled addiction, demons that had pulled her further from him. The betrayal cut deeper than he anticipated, leaving him gasping. This was the hidden truth that lay dormant for years, and here stood Sam, a link to the fracture, yearning for connection. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen." Now let's continue. The festivity now felt like a battlefield strewn with memories and unhealed wounds. Jack stood torn, grief and love warring inside him. Should he reach out to Emily, to fight for a family when she had caused so much pain, or should he retreat into familiar solitude? The sounds of laughter faded around them, replaced by the uncertainty that lay in the silence, flickering like the lights of the fair rides. That he looked down at the painting, then back at Sam. Was there still hope left in the cracks of their broken family? Jack's heart raced as he faced the overwhelming question hanging between them: could love rebuild what had been lost? The tumultuous emotions sat heavy, and as the fair lights dimmed, Jack's mind raced to answer. Would he find a way to heal with Sam? Or would these years of absence stretch on endlessly, the cycle of silence repeating? Jack stood frozen, the painting vibrant in his hands, a beacon in the darkness that had settled over the years. Sam's hopeful gaze and the swirling colors demanded a response, any response. But the weight of his daughter's absence felt heavier than ever. He searched Sam's face for answers, for some glimmer of understanding. Instead, he saw only the shadow of a lost family, almost like a reflection of his own heartbreak. "Let us walk," Jack finally said, his voice steadier than he felt. Sam nodded, and they began to move through the crowd. Stalls beckoned with the sounds of laughter, the sweet aroma of funnel cakes clashing forcibly with Jack's mood. Each step felt like he was trudging through thick mud, memories pulling at his heels. "Did you grow up here?" Sam asked, trying to fill the silence once they found a quieter spot near a small pond, its surface glimmering under the fading sun. Yeah, it's where I spent most of my life. I hoped it would be different. Jack paused, looking down at the painting again. I had dreams for Emily, dreams that we'd always be together, that she'd never feel alone. A lump formed in his throat. But things didn't turn out that way. Sam watched him, his expression shifting from curiosity to something deeper, understanding, perhaps. She changed after you two stopped talking, he said quietly, not wanting to ignite old wounds but seeming compelled to share. I tried to reach out to her, but it was never the same. Jack's heart sank. So many years lost, so many attempts at connection broken by silence and pain. He felt both guilty and relieved. Guilt for not being there, relieved that Sam was at least trying to understand the shattered pieces of their past. And what about your dad? Jack asked, the question escaping his lips before he could hold it back. Sam shifted uncomfortably, looking away. He's gone. He wasn't around much. Mom tried, but she had her battles, too. I've learned that you can't choose your family, but you can choose your connections. I want to build something different, something better. Jack felt an ache in his chest, the way Sam spoke of rebuilding with an innocence that tugged at Jack's heart. You're right, he said finally, the urge to lean into this moment pushing past his fears. We need to find a way to be family again. As they shared a tentative smile, Jack felt a flicker of hope. Perhaps, in this chaotic swirl of colors and emotions, he could find a pathway forward. But just as he dared to breathe easier, Sam's phone buzzed in his pocket. He pulled it out and frowned. It's Mom, he whispered. Jack's stomach dropped at the mere mention of Emily. Is it good news? He asked cautiously. I don't know yet, Sam replied, glancing at the screen, his expression unreadable. A heavy tension filled the air between them, altering the landscape of their connection. As Sam answered the call, Jack felt the fragile beam of hope they had built begin to fracture under the weight of the past. Will this communication bring them closer, or will it shove another wedge between them? Would Emily even want to reach out after all this time? Jack held his breath, capturing the moment like a photograph in his mind, hoping against hope that maybe, just maybe, this could be their turning point. Jack's heart thudded heavily in his chest as he watched Sam bring the phone to his ear. The boy's expression wavered, one moment anxious, the next hopeful. It felt like time stretched impossibly long as Jack fought against the emotions swirling within him. Mom. Sam's voice cracked slightly, sending a chill down Jack's spine. He could hear a faint murmur on the other end, but Sam flinched, his brow furrowing further. Yeah, I'm with him right now, Sam said, trying to keep his voice steady. Jack could almost feel the tension hissing in the air, thickening with each word exchanged. Finally, Sam's eyes widened, and Jack felt an electric surge of anticipation. He leaned in, desperate to catch any fragment of conversation, any hint at what Emily might say. But all Jack caught was Sam's expression shift from curiosity to something softer, infused with that familiar yearning for connection. I'll tell him, Sam said softly before lowering the phone and turning toward Jack, his features settling into an expression that felt like walking a tightrope between hope and dread. What did she say? Jack whispered, needing the answer like a sailor stranded on a deserted island needs water. Sam swallowed hard. She wants to see you, both of us. Tomorrow. Jack's heart raced, pounding against his ribcage like a drum. 1,000 questions flooded his mind. What about after all this time? Does she really want to see me? And you? She said, she's tired of being alone. She mentioned how hard it's been without us. I think it's time to talk. Sam hesitated, searching Jack's face. You still want to try, right? Jack nodded, though uncertainty gnawed at him like a hungry beast. He had a chance to see Emily after all these years, but after so long without her, he didn't know how to step back into her world. What would he say? Would they just pick up where they left off, or was it too late to rebuild the bridges that had burned? "I want to," he replied, his voice firm despite the weariness seeping into his bones. "But it's been so long. I worry I'll just screw everything up again. Maybe we both can mess it up together." Sam offered tentatively, a wry smile breaking through his earlier worry. Jack couldn't help but chuckle despite the fear bubbling inside him. "Yeah, we can definitely do that," Jack said, feeling a flicker of warmth return to his heart. "It could be messy, but maybe messiness is where we find our way back." Sam looked out across the pond, the water rippling gently in the evening breeze as if it too anticipated the shift in dynamics. "She deserves to know how much we care. I think part of her wants to reach out but doesn't know how to start." As Jack absorbed Sam's words, the weight of the past felt like a heavy cloak draped over his shoulders. He could feel bitterness clinging to him, but the possibility of healing with Sam by his side made the journey seem less daunting. "Tomorrow, then." His voice was a whisper, almost lost amongst the laughter of the fairgoers filtered through the trees. "I'll get ready." Just then, Sam's phone vibrated again, and they exchanged nervous glances. The upcoming meeting loomed large, a shadow over their fleeting moment of connection. "What if she's still angry?" Sam asked, the hint of fear threading through his voice. But before Jack could respond, another buzz echoed through the air this time. It was the unmistakable sound of a text arriving. Sam looked sheepishly at the phone, his expression shifting to puzzlement. "It's another message from Mom. She says she is sorry about everything, and that we should come prepared." "Prepared for what?" Jack asked, but he felt a thrill intertwine with the uncertainty. Sam's face held a mix of surprise and suspense, drawing Jack deeper into this powder keg moment. "Guess we'll find out," Sam said, staring back at his mother's words, steadying himself for whatever lay ahead. Jack's heart raced again. Was this the turning point he desperately prayed for, or the spark that would ignite old wounds? The foundation of their fragile family hung in the balance, waiting to be rebuilt or to crumble once more. Tomorrow would reveal the truth, and whether it would bring them closer or build bigger walls would depend on what lies behind Emily's words. Would they be ready for whatever came next? The aching need for answers led them to the brink of a new journey. The next morning arrived draped in an uncertain light, each moment stretching out before Jack like a tightrope. He felt the cool air brush against his skin as he stood on the porch, watching Sam pace back and forth in the yard. Jack rubbed the back of his neck, reminding himself to breathe. "We can do this," he murmured to himself, but the ache of doubt nested in his chest. "Are you ready?" Sam's voice broke through the heavy silence, pulling Jack back from his spiraling thoughts. The boy's wide eyes were filled with a mixture of excitement and fear, an echo of Jack's own turmoil. "I think so," Jack replied, forcing an encouraging smile. "Let's just take it one step at a time." As they climbed into the car, the weight of the upcoming meeting felt like an anchor dragging them down. Jack glanced at Sam, who had his eyes fixed out the window. A stillness settled between them, both steering themselves toward the inevitable. Each turn of the road brought them closer to Emily, closer to a past he had tried so hard to forget. When they arrived at the cafe where they agreed to meet, Jack felt his heart leap into his throat. The familiar ding of the doorbell echoed, sounding almost sinister in his ears. They stepped inside, the warmth of the place enveloping them, but it felt like walking into a snowstorm, inviting yet foreboding. "Mom should already be here," Sam murmured, scanning the room. Jack's stomach twisted. What if she changed her mind? "She'll come," Jack replied, though he wasn't sure why he believed his own words. They found a table in the corner, a tiny sanctuary from the world. Jack's fingers drummed nervously on the wooden surface. As minutes ticked by, the air thickened with unspoken fears. Jack couldn't help but steal glimpses at his son. Sam's youthful face was a picture of hope, and it made Jack's heart ache with the weight of the past and the promise of the future colliding. Finally, the door swung open, and the gentle tinkling of the bell announced Emily's arrival. Jack's breath caught. She looked so much like he remembered, yet different, stronger, lines framing her face hinted at battles fought and endured. Her eyes were cautious, searching the room, and when they locked onto Sam, they lit up with a flicker of recognition. Sam, she breathed, stepping closer, and for a moment, it felt as if the air hummed with possibility. Mom! Sam leaped from his seat, the hope on his face blooming like flowers in spring. Jack just watched, entranced, as mother and son reunited. Emily knelt to envelop Sam in a tight embrace, and Jack felt the spark of a long-lost connection flare to life, but just as quickly, the moment shifted. Emily's gaze slipped toward Jack, and the warmth of the reunion turned chilly under the weight of unspoken history. Jack caught the flicker of apprehension in her expression, the hesitance hanging in the air like a fragile thread. Jack, she started, her voice wavering. Emily. His heart pounded, each beat resonating with a lifetime of regrets. The words hung in the air, a tightrope stretching taut between them. Jack sensed the complexity of emotions swirling as they stood on the brink of revelation. Memories flooded in, both sweet and bitter, and time seemed to collapse around them. Everything hurts, but I want to fix it, Emily finally murmured, her eyes brimming with unshed tears. I can't promise anything, but what? Jack's heartbeat thundered in his ears, anticipation mingling with fear. Then Sam, ever the bridge between them, interjected, we're all here now. Let us talk about everything. We can't just walk away this time. Jack felt a mix of admiration and fear for his son. Sam was embracing the chaos, and it shifted something in Jack, igniting that flicker of hope just once more. As they sat down, the tension in the air thickened with possibility. Would they unravel the stories behind the pain, or were they tangled in a web too dense to break? Jack knew one thing, this was just the beginning. With everything hanging in the balance, the question loomed, could they pull together the fragments of a fractured past, or would they find themselves facing an abyss? The next word spoken might just determine their fate. Jack shifted nervously in his seat, the tension around the table humming with anticipation. The air felt thick, charged with history, with unspoken words hanging like dust in the sunlight. Sam bounced slightly in his seat, his boyish excitement bubbling just beneath the surface, while Jack grappled with a maelstrom of emotions. I don't know how to start, Emily said, brushing her hair back from her eyes, revealing traces of uncertainty. Jack's stomach churned at the sound of her voice, tinged with vulnerability. You could tell us how you've been, Sam offered, his innocence a stark contrast to the weight of the moment. Jack admired his son's courage, the way this young boy was stepping up to mend a fracture that had festered too long. A shadow crossed Emily's face. It's not easy to explain. The past decade has changed everything for me. Her gaze drifted to the table, fingers tracing the rim of her coffee cup, hesitant like she wasn't sure where to plant her roots. Jack cleared his throat, struggling to keep his voice steady. We just want to understand, Em. All we can do is try. His words floated into the open air, vulnerable yet firm. Emily nodded slowly, tears glimmering in her eyes. I was lost. I ran because I thought it would be better for you both. She looked at Sam with raw honesty. I was scared I would ruin your lives if I stayed. But I need you, Sam confessed softly. His voice trembled, weighted with longing. The room felt so small as he spoke, and Jack's heart twisted painfully at the sight of his son, the boy who had only ever wanted to be loved and to love. Emily's eyes met Jack's, and in those moments, everything felt suspended. I thought leaving would lessen the pain. I wanted to protect you, Jack. But I realize now that I only made it worse. Her words tumbled out, uncoiling a lifetime of regrets. Maybe we can start fresh. Sam suggested, his wide eyes searching each of their faces. I mean, it's been so long, maybe we could try. Jack looked at his son, fervently wishing to protect him from the heartbreak of disappointment. It's not that simple, Sam, but he felt the flicker of hope coaxing him. No, it could be, Emily pressed, her voice a whisper but tinged with urgency. Just give me a chance. I need to show you I've changed. There's so much I need to explain. What do you want to explain? Jack asked, irritation tugging at him. He desperately wanted to understand but didn't he know how to bridge this chasm. A moment passed as Emily gathered her thoughts, her face taut with contemplation. I've been working and living in a new city. I've built a life, but none of it felt complete until this moment. She looked down but her hands intertwined on the table, an act of solidarity with her son's hope. Jack noticed her palms trembled slightly, and he wondered if she was grappling with fear or anticipation. I could come to see you when I can. We could begin again. That's all I want, Emily said, her voice breaking, saturating the air with emotion. Just then, the door of the cafe swung open, a gust of wind rushing inside, redirecting all their attention. A young girl stood there, her wild curls bouncing as she scanned the room. The way she hesitated reminded Jack of Sam just moments ago. Is that? Jack's breath hitched. Kelly! Emily exclaimed, and the girl rushed to Emily's side, wrapping her arms around her waist. Jack and Sam exchanged a perplexed glance. What did this mean? Sam tugged on Jack's sleeve, whispering. Who is she? I don't know, buddy, Jack muttered. Questions surged in his mind. What hidden truths lay within this unexpected reunion? Emily knelt down, her voice choking back emotions. This is a big part of my life now. I wanted to tell both of you. As Jack watched the two embrace, uncertainty gnawed at him. What had Emily truly been hiding? Would the introduction of this girl draw them closer, or push them further apart? In that moment, Jack could feel the weight of the past settling over him once more, but a flicker of hope dared to rise. The room felt electric with new connections, each face shifting closer to the unknown, and as the weight of revelations loomed ahead, Jack knew they had only begun to scratch the surface. Would the answers come with open arms, or did they carry the echo of heartbreak yet untold? Kelly pulled back from Emily's embrace, her wide brown eyes darting curiously between her mother and Jack. A silence fell across their small table, thick with emotion. Sam, full of questions, shifted closer to Emily as if trying to read the unspoken tension in the air, the endearing innocence of a child trying to grasp the complexities of grown-up hearts. Mom, who is he? Kelly asked, her voice soft yet insistent, laced with a child's curiosity and wisdom beyond her years. Jack felt the question hit him like a cold splash of water. Just how much did Emily intend to reveal? Emily straightened up, her hands still gripping Kelly's shoulders. This is Jack, your father, she said, her voice wavering slightly at the words. Jack's breath caught. Hearing that word spilled from Emily's lips was surreal. Father. The title felt both foreign and familiar, echoing an empty space he had thought he'd filled with time. Kelly couldn't seem to process it fully. I have a dad. She whispered, an innocent incredulity crossing her face. Yes, honey, he's your dad, Emily reassured her, forcing a smile that wobbled slightly. Jack's heart raced. Sam's gaze moved from Emily to Kelly, confusion pulling at him. So she's my sister. The weight of the moment pressed down like a heavy blanket. Emily nodded, her eyes glistening with a mix of sorrow and hope. I never wanted to keep this from you two, but I didn't know how to begin. I didn't want to complicate things even further. Complicate? Jack had spent years piecing together his life after Emily left. This news felt like an earthquake shaking the ground beneath him. Sam's eyes widened with a mixture of disbelief and excitement, a rare spark igniting against the backdrop of their fractured past. Can we meet her? Sam's voice cut through the tension, his youthful enthusiasm unwavering as he gestured to Kelly. I mean, I want to be friends. Yes. Kelly exclaimed, her spirit sparkling as she took a hesitant step toward Sam. Jack marveled at the innocence blooming between the two children. In that moment, he saw a glimpse of possibility, two siblings who had never known each other, standing at the precipice of a bond yet to be formed. But his heart still ached with unanswered questions. What else do we need to talk about, Em? He asked, forcing the urgency into the open. You can't just drop this news in our laps and expect everything to be alright. We have to figure out what this means. Emily's expression fell, the hopeful light fading momentarily. I know I have a lot to explain. There have been so many things that happened after I left, things I still can't wrap my head around myself. The honesty in her voice caught Jack off guard. Part of him felt the pinch of anger rise, but another part wanted to absorb her pain, to understand why not only she had left but why she hadn't come back sooner. Kelly jumped in, breaking the tension as kids often do. Can we go get ice cream now? Her innocent request brought a smile to Sam's face, distracting them all from the storm swirling within. Jack sighed, torn between the pull of family and the weight of history. Ice cream sounds good. But I can't just forget everything that has happened. Emily's face reflected his inner conflict. I know, and I'm ready to share everything. I want us to build a real family again, starting right now. Kelly deserves to know her father. Sam took a step closer to her. And I want to know my sister. He declared with infectious enthusiasm, as if he could bridge the gaps with sheer will. Jack couldn't help but smile at their eagerness and innocence. The prospect of a family reunited was both exciting and terrifying. Okay, he said, feeling the uncertainty shift into cautious optimism. Let us start with ice cream and see where this takes us. As they rose from their seats, laughter and chatter spilled from the cafe into the bustling street. Step by step, Jack felt the ice around his heart melting, but his mind spun with unanswered questions. What truths would come tumbling out in the light of day? Would this reunion heal their past, or unearth deeper wounds? With a glance at Emily and a feeling of Sam's small hand gripping his, he couldn't shake the vision of a storm on the horizon. This was only the beginning. Revelations threatened just beneath the surface, waiting for the right moment to unfurl. And as they stepped out into the bright sun, Jack's thoughts lingered on the past and future colliding. Would they be swept into a new life or become engulfed in the devastation of old mistakes? Only time would tell. The ice cream shop was a kaleidoscope of color and sound, a swirl of laughter and delight. Bright banners hung from the ceiling, and the sweet aroma of waffle cones filled the air. Jack watched as Sam and Kelly bounced to the counter, eyes wide with wonder at the array of flavors. Chocolate mint, strawberry swirl, birthday cake. The choices seemed endless. Jack felt a pull in his heart. This moment, so simple yet so monumental, was a reminder of everything he had lost and could potentially regain. Beside him, Emily took a deep breath, her gaze fixed on their children. There was a sense of vulnerability in her eyes, an expression Jack couldn't shake. She was finally pouring out pieces of herself that had long been buried, and he needed to understand why. Hey, he said softly, nudging her shoulder. You okay? Emily forced a smile, though a hint of sadness lingered. Yeah, just thinking. It feels surreal, doesn't it? His heart twisted. Surreal is one way to put it. He nodded toward the children, who were now deep in negotiation over toppings. But I want to talk. You said you would share everything, and I need to know. She glanced over at Sam and Kelly, watching them giggle and argue about sprinkles versus chocolate syrup. I know I have a lot to explain, Emily said, her voice low. It's just everything is so tangled. I never wanted to hurt you or the kids, but there were reasons for the choices I made. Reasons that sound odd even to me now. Jack's pulse quickened. The air crackled with unspoken words, and he could feel the weight of their shared history hanging around them. Emily, we can't keep dancing around this. For once, let's just lay it all out. She nodded, her face tightening as if bracing for impact. Okay. But it's not just about me leaving. It's about what happened when I left, and what I was trying to protect you from. Jack felt a surge of anger rush through him. Protect? Or abandon? The word slipped out, sharper than he intended. Her eyes widened, but she quickly regained her composure. I know I didn't handle things well. But I thought it was for the best. He stepped back, the distance between them feeling both necessary yet painful. You took away my chance to be a father. Kelly, she grew up without knowing who I was. Without knowing she had a dad. Just then, Kelly's voice broke through, bright and bubbly. Look, Mom. We can get rainbow sprinkles. Her excitement wrapped around the moment, bittersweet and warm. Jack watched her, swallowed by the innocent joy on her face. A reminder of the joy he had missed over the years. He felt the weight shift as he glanced at Emily. Her expression was a mixture of regret and hope, as if she were on the verge of revealing something monumental. I never wanted to keep the kids from you, Jack. It wasn't just about being alone. I was scared things were complicated in ways I didn't know how to explain. I left to protect them and you from the mess that was my life. It took me years to figure it out and I thought I had time to make it right. The ache in Jack's chest softened a little, curiosity fighting against his hurt. And now? Now, I want to bring everyone together. To let them know their dad. To show them who their family is. Her voice trembled with earnestness, a plea hidden within. Before he could respond, Sam bounded over, his ice cream towering, nearly toppling, in his hands. Look, Dad. Isn't this epic? A small laugh escaped Jack's lips despite everything. It sure is, buddy. As the children chattered about their cone creations, Jack and Emily exchanged a glance filled with 1,000 unspoken words. The air between them buzzed, thick with anticipation and the weight of unhealed scars. Suddenly, without any warning, a shadow flickered in Jack's periphery. He turned to find a figure standing at the entrance to the shop. His heart dropped, a face he recognized from years ago. Someone he thought he'd never have to see again. What the hell, he murmured, taking a step back, uncertainty piercing through his cautious optimism. Who had just entered their lives? What more of their history would be resurfacing now? Jack squinted, his heart racing as the figure by the entrance took a step forward, and he felt the world around him fade. The vibrant colors of the ice cream shop blurred into the background, melting away like forgotten dreams. He recognized the man instantly. It was Mark, Emily's father. What are you doing here? Jack's voice was strained, his hands balling into fists. The joy that had filled the air moments ago felt like ash in his mouth. Mark looked almost the same, just older, with deeper lines etched into his face. Jack hadn't seen him since the day Emily left. It was as if time had trapped them all in amber, and now they were jolted back into a reality they had hoped to escape. I came to find Emily, Mark said, his voice a low rumble. There was a hint of desperation in his eyes, but Jack couldn't shake the feeling of anger that bubbled beneath the surface. Kelly and Sam, unaware of the rising tension, continued to giggle and flick colorful sprinkles on their cones, blissfully isolated in their own world. Did you just pop back into town to poke around and dig up more of her past? Jack snapped, the words laced with bitterness. He stepped toward Mark, feeling a protective instinct flare. You didn't care about her when she needed you most. Mark flinched, and for a moment, Jack thought he saw something like regret flicker across his face. I know I messed up. But this is not about me, it's about Emily and what she has been carrying. Jack felt a rush of emotions swell. Memories flooded back, the pain, the laughter, the moments that turned sour. You don't get to just show up now. Emily, still connected to the moment, moved to Jack's side, her voice steady yet uncertain. Dad, what are you doing here? I thought we agreed to leave the past behind. Agreed? Mark shot back, his voice rising. You have a family now. Don't you want to know why I couldn't help you all those years ago? I came because I should have been there for you, but I was trying to protect you. To protect everyone. The children paused, their laughter fading into silence as the adults stood poised on the precipice of a looming storm. Kelly tugged at Emily's sleeve, her bright eyes searching for comfort amidst the tension. Mom, what's wrong? Sam echoed, glancing between Mark and Jack. The innocence of their children contrasted sharply with the heaviness of the moment. Jack felt his heart twist, torn between the urge to shield his kids from the turmoil and the need to confront the spinning chaos of their fractured family. "This is not the time, Mark." But a steely resolve hardened in Emily's gaze. "No, it's exactly the time. I need to hear what he has to say." Jack's breath hitched. Did she really mean that? Could she handle whatever truth lay buried below years of resentment? "Emily, please, Jack," she urged, her voice barely above a whisper, laced with a blend of hope and fear. "I need to know." Mark nodded slowly, a flicker of triumph in his eyes. "It's about your health, Em. And about the choices I made to keep you safe, what I thought would keep everyone safe." Jack felt his stomach coil tightly. He glanced at Emily, who was now focused entirely on her father, hope shimmering in her eyes like ice cream under the sun. What could Mark possibly say that could change everything? "Tell me," she insisted, her voice trembling yet determined. As Mark opened his mouth to speak, tension crackled in the air like a live wire. The truth was about to surface, a bubble that had been brewing for too long. Jack's heart raced, unsure if this moment would bring healing or turmoil. And just like that, the ice cream shop, with its bright decorations and innocent laughter, felt like the eye of a storm as secrets lingered in the air, ready to spill over. What revelation awaited them, and how would it reshape the fragmented family before him? Mark took a deep breath, composure cracking as he met Emily's hopeful gaze. "When you were diagnosed," he began, his voice trembling slightly, "I didn't think I could face you, Em. I didn't want you to see my fear, the fear that you wouldn't understand." Emily's brow furrowed, confusion mixing with the spark of determination in her eyes. "What are you talking about, Dad? I thought it would be easier for you if you didn't know the truth about your illness. The doctors, they mentioned something that might run in our family. Something I didn't want to pass on." Jack's heart sank. He understood now. Mark hadn't just abandoned Emily, he had kept her away from her own history, desperate to spare her the pain that had haunted their family. "You meant to protect her by keeping her in the dark." Jack's voice came out low and edged. Mark's shoulders slumped, and the years of regret painted a sorrowful picture across his face. "I was a coward. I thought that if I stayed away, you'd have a better chance at a normal life. I was trying to protect you from what I thought was a fatal shadow." Jack felt the anger ebb slightly, replaced by a swell of confusing emotions. Emily's condition had always been a backdrop in their lives, a looming specter that they discussed in whispers and worried glances. Had Mark really thought this secret would help? Emily was quiet for a moment, absorbing Mark's words like a sponge soaking up water. "You should have at least told me," she replied finally, voice thick. "I had a right to know." Mark's mouth opened, but no words came out. Instead, he stepped closer, hands reaching out as if to bridge the gap between them. "I know. I know that now, Em. But I thought you had your mom, and you didn't need me. I thought it was best." "Best for whom?" Jack muttered, slicing through the moment with frustration. "Best for you. Or for Emily?" Kelly and Sam, who had been watching with wide eyes, were frozen in place, sensing the tension vibrating in the air. Everything felt heavy, raw. Jack's heart ached, torn between two parents caught in a storm of their own making. "Emily," Jack said, his voice softer now, "you have to think about what this means. Your health, your family, we can deal with this together. We just need to know what is going on." Tears brimmed in Emily's eyes. "Dad, is there something I need to do? Can I prevent it?" Mark shook his head, regret deepening the lines on his face. "There are tests, options, but it's about having that knowledge. And I took that away from you. I'm sorry." Emily clenched her fists, breaths quickening as she processed everything. "I have to know what to prepare for. I need to be strong for my kids." Jack placed a gentle hand on her shoulder, feeling the quiver in it. "And you will be strong, Emily. You're stronger than any of us know." The silence stretched as uncertainty loomed, but a spark of unity flickered in the air. They were all in this together, whether they liked it or not. Mark seemed to sense the shift, the fragile rope of hope woven into the tension wrapping around them. If it helps at all, I'm here for you now. I want to do better. To support you in this. Just give me a chance. Emily looked to Jack, searching for reassurance. Jack felt the weight of her gaze, the gravity of her decision ahead. Could she truly allow her father back into her life? Would Mark stay true to his word this time? Jack took a breath, ready to say something that could guide them forward. But before he could speak, the ice cream shop door swung open. A rush of cold air burst in, and another figure stepped inside. Jack froze as the familiar silhouette came into view, a twist of fate he never anticipated, pulling the story deeper into unknown territory. Emily, the newcomer exclaimed, voice unmistakable yet changed, setting off a new wave of tension that threatened to topple everything they had just pieced together. The figure stepped into the cafe, pausing at the sight of the gathering. It was Emma, Jack's sister, her presence spilling over with a mix of surprise and concern. I heard you were here, she said, scanning the room, her gaze settling on Emily, Jack, and the children. What is going on? Jack's heart sank. Just when they were beginning to untangle the mess of their past, another thread was being pulled loose. Emma looked at him, the concern in her eyes softening her steely demeanor that emerged in family matters. Jack, is everything all right? The confusion hanging in the air felt like a thick fog, smothering the moments of connection they had just begun to thread together. Yes, well, sort of, he stammered, feeling the weight of every pair of eyes on him. This is complicated, he finished, unable to find the right words. Emily turned toward Emma, her expression revealing the depth of the chaos they had stumbled into. I didn't think you'd hear about this, she said, her voice trembling slightly, not after everything. Emma took a step forward. How could I not? Jack called me earlier, asking if I knew where you were. It's been years since we had a family reunion with both of you. Kelly, who felt the tension shifting, clutched Emily's leg. Mom, who is she? Her innocent question cut through the thick air like a beacon of clarity. This is my sister, Emma, Jack said, gesturing toward her. Your aunt, Emily added, forcing a smile despite the looming storm. Aunt? Kelly echoed, her bright eyes wide. I have an aunt. With a growing smile that chased away some of the tension, Emma knelt next to Kelly. Yes, sweet girl. And I've been waiting to meet you. The unexpected warmth in Emma's eyes brought a sense of comfort as she reached out to smooth Kelly's wild hair. A tugging warmth mixed with relief flooded through Jack. For the first time in what felt like ages, a glimmer of hope spliced through the tension. Maybe this was an opportunity for their family. Maybe everyone's paths were meant to intertwine at this moment, giving the needed chance to rewrite their stories. Why not get some ice cream together? Emma proposed, standing tall with a spark of enthusiasm. I'll treat the kids. We can all sit down and talk, reconnect. Sam, ever enthusiastic, echoed, yeah. Ice cream sounds awesome. The children's innocent excitement invaded the heavy atmosphere, pulling Jack, Emily, and Mark into its orbit. Jack caught a glimpse of what could be, a family healing despite their tangled web of past hurts. He looked at Emily and saw the tentative hope. She needed to see this as much as he did. Let us do it, Jack said, feeling emboldened. He shot Emma a grateful look. She was always the glue in their family. Emma beamed back, clearly relieved to breach the seemingly insurmountable tensions. As they collected themselves and ordered ice cream, Jack watched the children. Sam and Kelly were immediately enthralled in sharing flavors, toppings, and their lives as they began to bubble with laughter. It was a beautiful start, one he desperately yearned for despite the heavy past weighing on their shoulders. Back at the booth, they gathered around a table, mountains of ice cream preventing any lingering silence. The atmosphere was visibly lighter now, laughter came easy, and smiles danced around them, a counterbalance to the confessions they still needed to face. Jack, you have your hands full, Emma teased, nudging him playfully as the kids began an impromptu sprinkles contest. But look at them, family looks so good on you." He smiled, the weight of her words dropping anchor in his heart. "Thanks, Em. It feels good to have you here." As Jack sat back, he felt a flicker of acceptance. The air held the promise of healing. With every scoop of ice cream, stories stirred among them. Then Emily took a breath and steadied herself. "I know things aren't perfect, but I want to talk about everything I've kept in the dark. I'm ready to share not only my struggles but also what I hope we can become." Jack nodded, feeling the threads of their lives weaving together, fragile but stronger than ever, for the sake of these children, and for the family they had all dreamt of. This was the moment to embrace the unknown, to step into whatever the future held together. Jack realized that love has the power to pierce through the shadows. Together, they could create something different, something better, despite a past that hurt, and that was enough to light the path forward. The journey might not be easy, but as Jack looked around the table at their smiling faces, their fresh beginnings, the promise of tomorrow filled him with hope. And with that, outside the cafe, the sun began to break through the clouds, illuminating the moment, a reminder that no matter how dim the past, love and family had the power to shine bright once more. Now, if you felt this story resonate with you and want to see more incredible journeys unfold, you need to subscribe now to the channel. Don't miss out on the next exclusive updates. Hit that bell and mark all notifications. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm, and comment below with your thoughts and feelings about this ending. You have to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. We all deserve a bit of hope, don't we? Show your support and be part of this community. Don't wait not even one more second to share.